Good morning. It's Monday, July 13, 2020. I'm talking about filling the void based on Acts 1, 12, 26. And you recall the story that in the early church there was a void to fill because Judas was no longer among them. He had committed suicide, and there was a blank spot, a blank chair in the board meeting of the apostles. How do you fill that void? How do you replace someone who's no longer there with you? Often churches face this when they've lost their pastoral leadership, and they seek someone who is qualified to take the place of their previous minister. So I talked about in this passage how the disciples went about the process of finding a replacement for Judas. And then in the text, we see basically a sandwich where prayer is the two pieces of bread. First, in verses 13 to 14, you bathe the whole process of seeking new leadership in prayer. Don't just hope for the best, pray for the best. And then, secondly, look for candidates who meet the scriptural qualifications. And then ask God for guidance in making the right choice among those candidates, trusting that God has answered your prayer. Now, you might ask, though, how do you get the guidance? We no longer use a Urim and Thummim to discern what God's will is. How do we know? And there are indications that God will give you. In the present situation with me, the church that was seeking leadership faced a dilemma that churches don't normally face. And that is that they could not have candidates come in and preach and then go through the process of determining whether that candidate was right or wrong for that church. Because we faced COVID-19 and the restrictions for travel and all of that involved. For me, I couldn't quit my job and go travel to another state and quarantine myself for 14 days, and then the process would not work. And there were a number of churches that we essentially had to say no to because practically the candidating process wouldn't work. But God had a way. And in that situation with that church, they had a preacher come visit last year. And that preacher was me. And I had preached revival services at that church. And they knew me. They knew of me. They had heard me preach. They had a way of determining whether or not I fit the scriptural qualifications that we talk about. So God has a way of letting you know which choice is the right choice. When you face a void in your life, something, a change that you have to make, something that you need, pray, look for the right thing to do scripturally, and then trust God to make the right choice. Have a great day. God bless you.